In the crazy world of comics, there are some amazing women out there creating stories that we love to read. Ray and I have had a bit of a chat about this, and we've just decided to pinpoint a few of our personal favourites.
Not all of them.
No, not all. We don't have time for that. But we're going to share a few with you. Now, the first one that we kind of came up with is actually, well, she's
It's her
favourite, which is Sue DeConnick. Now, if you don't know Kelly Sue, she's been writing Avengers Assemble, she's written Captain Marvel, she's also written Ghost for Dark Horse, and my personal favourite, which was actually how I started reading Kelly Sue DeConnick, Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly is it's an unusual title. It's kind of gory and accessible and weird and wonderful all at the same time, and anyone who's been watching Kapow knows that that's not everything that I really like.
So I first heard of Kelly when she kind of blew up on the internet, when she was invited to a convention
yes.
in Ireland,
Yep.
and they billed her as her husband's wife.
Yes, she got billed as the wife of Matt Fraction. Why would you do that? Why? It created a meme that went on the internet and went insanely successful as far as memes are concerned in the comic book world, I think.
And it kind of spurred her to become a little bit outspoken as well about issues for women
That's right.
in comics.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to make other people uncomfortable so that her daughter doesn't have to, is what she's been quoted as saying.
That's brilliant. That's such a great quote as well of hers to kind of pinpoint the kind of writer that she is, which I think is awesome. She's a really strong voice, but we have to keep moving. So speaking of strong voices in the industry, number 2 is your favourite. Who is it, Ray?
Gail Simone. So you might know Gail Simone from Secret Six, Birds of Prey. She's the longest running female writer on Wonder Woman.
Excellent.
Also Batgirl.
Ah yes, with Batgirl as well. She was the first person to introduce a transgendered character into a mainstream comic, which is Alyssa Yeoh, which is amazing.
Yep.
It's so cool. Now, one of my personal favourites of Gail Simone, as well as so many others, is her current run on Red Sonja.
Oh, really?
It's
I never
so
would have
good.
guessed.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so good. She's such a cheeky character that Gail's created out of Sonya, and I think it's so wonderful. But did you know she also wrote some of the Treehouse of Horrors for The Simpsons? The Simpsons.
Now, I remember seeing the name in the little drippy goo, but connecting the dots didn't happen in my brain.
No. So
Thank
it
you,
just
Sonya.
goes to show how much Gail Simone has kind of infiltrated all of our titles and TV and everything. It's pretty cool.
Now, one of the things that I really, really love about Gail Simone, it's
many things.
It's almost everything I love about her. It's just her personality and the way that she injects it into everything she writes.
Yeah.
All of her characters, the dialogue is realistic, but it's always got this underlying cheekiness.
Yeah.
She really grabs what is cool about them and brings that to the surface. And yeah, she writes page turners.
She really
Absolutely.
does.
But yeah, one of the things that brought Gail Simone to a lot of people's attention, I think, was her work with women in refrigerators. Now, she wrote an essay on this, and
Very
also,
long, amazing essay.
yeah, it's incredible. If you haven't read it, look it up. And also worked with this website to compile a list of all the female superheroes and characters that were raped, murdered, shoved in refrigerators, as a plot device. You know, their entire purpose of being sometimes was just to be killed as a plot device for the male character in the story.
It's horrible. It's a horrible thing that has happened, but you know, it just takes one person to kind of go, hang on a second.
Yep.
This isn't right. Let's go. And that person was Gail Simone, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Such an awesome woman.
Also, if you're not following Gail Simone on Twitter, you are missing out.
Yeah.
She was actually voted the number 1 tweeters on IGN's list of top tweeters in comics, and
she's hilarious.
It is full of sarcastic hashtags about the comic world, so yeah, I highly recommend having a look at it.
Now, moving on from Gail Simone, we come to a little Aussie creator. Always good.
Also worked with Gail
Simone,
on
indeed.
Birds of Prey.
We are, of course, talking about Nicola Scott.
Oi, oi, oi.
Now, Nicola is a fabulous artist who has worked on Teen Titans. She's also worked on Earth 2 with fellow Australian Tom Taylor.
Yes, as well as Birds of Prey.
Yep.
With Gail Simone.
Yes.
Secret Six. And she also drew the Blackest Night arc Wonder Woman, which is something I would love to cosplay when there are no children around.
Yeah, that's not a family-friendly one.
I feel like that would destroy Wonder Woman for a few people.
But I have to say, with cosplay and cons, Nicola is probably one of the most approachable people. She's always seems really happy to talk to everybody and really friendly, and we were really lucky. We got her at the beginning of Kapow. We actually managed to get an interview with Nicola, and she was so lovely. and just so approachable, which
really
is really
is.
great to see.
She's really lovely and welcoming, and I think we've said lovely about
We've
15
said lovely
times,
so
but
many,
she's
Nicola
just
is
so
lovely.
She will go out of her way to point out that she loves your cosplay,
Yeah.
even if you haven't approached her. She's just one of those women that makes comics such a welcoming place for, you know, women and girls on the outside
Yeah.
that might think that it's a very male-centric kind of scary place. She's there as an example to say, no, women are here and they are welcome here and they do well here.
No, which is really nice to see. It's really awesome. But going on from Nicola's fabulous art to another artist, Fiona Staples. Now, Fiona Staples is probably best known for her work in Saga.
Yeah, for which she has been nominated for all of the awards and won only slightly less of them.
Yep.
There's Harveys, there's Eisners, there's Hugos.
Yep.
Yeah, she's often applauded for her detail. Her backgrounds are stunning, you know, she's got this delicate line work and her facial expressions look like facial expressions, which is kind of important.
It's kind of helpful.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. You open any page in Saga and it's stunning. It's a piece of art. You hang it on your wall. I really love Fiona Staples' work. I think it's really evocative and very, you know, it just helps build that world so much in Saga because it's such a weird, wonderful world.
Yeah, some of the worlds she gets handed, it's difficult to see how you would translate that from being given
Absolutely.
this description in this script to be able to put that on a page so that readers can be immersed into it. But she manages
she does
to do
it beautifully. But look, I mean, that's just a couple of writers and a couple of artists that we personally love. There are so many more out there. But it's not just the creators. There's also editors, there's producers, there's PRs, there's accountants, there's, you know, the work experience kid bringing coffee. It's all important to help create the comic books that we really love. There's one that I would like to just kind of pull out, which is Karen Berger. She was the executive editor of DC's Vertigo. Because of her, we had Alan Moore come across on Swamp Thing. We had Neil Gaiman write Sandman. She edited Why the Last Man, 100 Bullets, Hellblazer, Preacher, so many others.
Anything that's good.
Yeah, but she doesn't get her name written on the front of the book. It's written in tiny, tiny writing on the inside. But she's just one of the many, many women who helped create this fantastic world. And I think they all deserve a round of applause. It's an amazing thing that they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, that tiny, tiny writing on the inside,
Yes.
you've read that tiny, tiny writing on the inside.
I always read the tiny, tiny writing
And why is that, Sonya?
because I'm a nerd.
Because she's a nerd.
Yeah.